Right. My name's Wroe from Sakura Finance. I'm a mortgage broker or finance broker. I've been working in the industry for about 4 years, and I've been a Finsure broker for about three of those years. For the last couple of years, I've kind of realized that my niche and my target market or my ideal client is millennials, which falls into that first home buyer category. A lot of them are usually looking for a property that they want to live in, but there are a few millennials that kind of change their goals and aspirations and actually start off by becoming a bit of a rent investor. And PRPTY360 is someone that I refer all of my clients to.
For the other brokers within the network, if perhaps you recap the way the conversation started with your client that went on to purchase with us, and the advice and the conversation and how we work together to get a good outcome for the client initially and firstly, and then our two businesses.
Yeah, so initially this particular client that we're probably referring to initially was looking for a property for themselves to live in, and I did all the paperwork and got the pre-approval for them as a first home buyer. The 90 days had run out and they their pre-approval lapsed. I lost a lot of motivation because they were realizing that they actually couldn't afford or get into the property that they wanted to get into, just due to their income situation. But then what I did is I went back to the client and had a conversation with regards to their specific goal. And I said, well, what's the goal? Is it to own a property? Because there's many ways that you can kind of own a property. And then what I did is had that conversation with regards to being an investor, and then obviously some of the benefits of being an investor. And I mean, this particular client was still living at home. So I said that you've got you're in a really good financial position to set yourself up for the future. And then just changed their kind of thought process. And they're a lot more of their education with regards to what they could do in terms of becoming an investor.
Yeah, excellent. Well done, Sean, because your client was extremely well prepared for the conversations that we had with her around the benefits of striking her first blow in the property market as an investor versus an owner-occupier. What did PRPTY360 do to help that facilitate that advice? And what did PRPTY360 do to help bridge those educational gaps for your client there to support her in this transaction?
Yeah, so PRPTY360 gave me the credibility and the kind of the knowledge and the strength with regards to positioning myself as an expert in that industry. Not only can you kind of give really good sound structural advice with regards to how to structure the investment property, but where you guys kind of came in is it kind of boosted your business in terms of opening doors for your clientele to allow them to kind of get into these really good opportunities with regards to purchasing property. It also allowed me to kind of give me a bit more street cred because, you know, I trusted you guys with my client, and she could kind of get more knowledge and more education from you guys. And, you know, sometimes it takes a couple of different people to kind of give different forms of advice. And that particular client will get bits of nuggets of information from each industry leader and then kind of make those decisions. And in the end, we got a really great result. And as a result of that, she's actually referred her brother, and we're going to go through the same process again with him. He's probably a little bit more greener, so it'll be a lot more nurturing along the way, but you guys are really good at kind of assisting with all of that.
Yeah, brilliant. It's excellent. You know, referrals are the key well, I believe our business is predominantly built off the back of referrals. And when you do get a referral off a client so quickly, it tends to tell you or point in the right direction that we're doing something right. So it's fantastic. how long did it take from that discussion with your client to the execution of the contract and the rest of it? So keeping in mind a pre-approval is 90 days, which lapsed. When you got Property 360 involved in the process, how quickly did the client transact and become unconditional on a property?
Yeah, really quickly. So the second time that we went for the pre-approval, the client was pretty much really excited to lock into one of the properties that was presented. So I think in total it was probably about, obviously a little bit of back and forth, less than a month with regards to signing all the necessary paperwork and kind of getting everything sorted. So at the moment with that particular client, they're at formal approval. We're waiting for a little final checks and balances with regards to settlement. But it's seamless. It's, everything's kind of stacking up. We've got no issues with valuations, which is, I've been in situations where some other property people have kind of presented properties and the evaluations kind of come under. But you guys are selecting really good quality properties. And funnily enough, and I actually didn't share this with you, the valuation actually came back $1,000 above the purchase price, but I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But anyway, I thought that was kind of a really good win for the client.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic. It does show that we've done our work. That particular project, that particular property was in a very small subdivision, which is what we like. There was only 29 lots in that particular subdivision in the Sunshine Coast. And comparable packages were selling for $70,000 more than the one that your client purchased. So having a valuation of $1,000 over is fantastic. We know that it's very unlikely for a client to get a valuation of $70,000 over, but it's definitely put her off on the right track. The rental yield on that particular property is 5%. The vacancy rate was around about 1%, so a super tight market for renters, so she'll have no problem getting that place leased. And additionally to that, the property's really well located next to a college, aquatic centre, 20 minutes from the beach, and right there in terms of being close to the town centre and also public transport. The cool thing about this, Sean, is your business model and is to millennials, and so for the people that are out there listening to this, the other brokers in the network, guys. So the client was in Victoria, Sean's in Byron Bay, I'm in Sydney, and the property was purchased in the Sunshine Coast. So all done remotely, all done by Zoom and emails and phone calls. So yeah, there's really, just shows the barriers to doing business are being brought down, and there are positives about this current environment.
Not at all, because I know that to get in with Finsure would take you a lot. They do a lot of checks and boundaries with regards to who they kind of present and partner up with. So when you kind of were listed as part of someone that was on our panel, I just knew immediately that I wasn't going to have any issues with you at all, because just because I knew that Finsure is really diligent with how they kind of probably onboard you guys. So I had no fears with regards to that. Obviously, the first transaction, maybe I was a little bit kind of nervous in terms of how I introduce you guys to the clientele. But now I've kind of got those processes down after doing the first one, and kind of, so it's a general introduction. In my processes with regards to my strategy meeting with my client, I do say not only do I specialize in mortgages or like in loans and things like that, I do have someone on my panel that specializes in sourcing properties as well. So if you wanted to take me up on that, I can always introduce you to those guys on my panel. So just, I guess in your processes, if you just kind of mention it, it might be the difference from them realizing that you're just not just a mortgage broker, but you're the full package, and they might kind of take you up on it. So I think when you kind of introduce it relatively early, even if it's just a little breadcrumb, that can open more opportunities with regards to what you can kind of do with that particular client.
Yeah, look, working with on the other side of that, working with you is fantastic, Sean. Like you are, you're an innovator. You really get your space, which is millennials. It's fantastic that you've identified that, and yeah, we feel really comfortable working with you because you get it. You don't oversell the process. You don't. You let things flow, and that's fantastic. We really appreciate that trust that you've provided us.
Just the professionalism of it. You know, there was no, the client didn't feel, you were just kind of another section of my business. So you just kind of integrated it. You know, you presented really well, and you know, you're super reliable. The other thing is also, I do love that. I mean, you have access to those calculations, which I don't have. So it was really good to go through that with the client. And then I think when they sit down and see the numbers with regards to the benefits of purchasing an investment property, a lot of light bulbs probably went off for that particular client, because a lot of millennials, especially, a lot of millennials actually don't know how to kind of do these things, or how to minimize tax and things like that, and what are the strategies. And unless you're in that industry or you're surrounded by people that kind of know what they do, they just don't know that information. So when you kind of sit down and break it down and explain it to them, and then you just notice in their eyes that they're kind of thinking about what you're kind of presenting to them, and then the realization that they go, holy moly, why haven't I kind of done this earlier, or why haven't I kind of thought about this a lot earlier, is really rewarding. So what you guys, when you guys kind of come in there and kind of do that educational piece, especially for my clientele, I know that they're going to walk away with full trust in the whole process. And I don't think it's just going to be one transaction. I think it's going to be multiple transactions for those particular clients along their way.
Fantastic. On average, just on that, on average, clients you usually transact about 3 times with us in about the first 24 to 36 months. You know, given market conditions and things like that, all of that stuff obviously has an impact in that. But historically, if we go back over our business records, that's basically what happens. Cool. So yeah, thanks for trusting us. That's really powerful, the education that we provide to highlight that for people and just step them through it step by step. So what can look daunting from the outset, you know, we really shed light on that. And yeah, we find that that's when the light bulbs go off, exactly as you say. The trust is built, and then it's left up to us to make sure that we get the property selection right. And in this case, we absolutely knocked it out of the park. And we are super happy for you and grateful for the referral, and super grateful that that we've got a great outcome and that your client's super happy and referred again.
Can I also add something? If you're new to kind of jumping onto and becoming a partner with you guys, I would highly suggest to jump on the emailing list. You guys have a really good emailing list. You're pushing out new projects that are happening. As a broker, it kind of educates you in terms of what's happening in the marketplace as well. You also do some really good webinars as well. So if you're a broker, or you know, a financial planner or an accountant, and if you just jump on and just obviously see what you guys actually present, and then that way when you are in front of a client, you can kind of have those kind of conversations as well. And so it kind of, but obviously you would present it in the way that you like to present it and put your own spin on it. So it just kind of, it's the same messaging, but sometimes if you say it in a different way, it could be the difference between a client signing up or, you know, purchasing that investment property.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's the aim for us. We want to educate everybody about what's available out there.